Because when you go into the Shark Tank, that is it. There's no cuts. You're there for 1.5 hours. So we are selling now 14 dishwash bottles every minute. I think the real idea of the show, inspiring more and more people, I think there is an understanding that if somebody's promising me Panchkuna Safedi, it's on the back of a lot of bleach, which is basically harmful for you. Now I've understood, Simran, कि तुमने अपनी नौकरी क्यों छोड़ी? Hi, I am Simran Khara. I'm the founder and CEO of Koparo. Very happy to be talking to you. My early life was spent in military cantonments because my dad, he retired a colonel from the army. He served in the mechanized infantry. So I grew up in small towns in Punjab and Rajasthan. And my journey of college life took me first to DU, where I was at SRCC, then to London School of Economics, and finally I got my MBA at the ISB, and I passed out from there in 2006. Since then, I've got multiple years of work experience. Beginning at McKinsey, I joined a client of mine, which was Star at the time, and then I had a long stint in Star and Hotstar for about 8.5 years. And then the opportunity to be the CEO of Juggernaut Books came my way, and I took it up, learned a lot, and I started Koparo 3 years ago in February 21. So this is actually our third year anniversary, which we're celebrating with the biggest month ever for Koparo. I think a lot of people are asking that, how does Shark Tank happen? How do you apply? So basically, there's a registration form. It opens up on the website. You put in certain details, and then there are multiple rounds of audition. There will be an audition which will be text based. So you will actually just write out your script in Hindi and send it across. Then there is a video script that you send across, a recording of yourself. And finally, they come to a city near you. Like for me, it was Delhi, and they call you in. You spend an hour pitching to their team. They get a sense whether this is something that would work for them or not, and then you're called in for the final round. So there's about 2 or 3 stages, therefore, before the final round. The final round happens in Mumbai. There will be a day of the pitch, but you will typically be called in 2 or 3 days before that, where they help prep you. They prep you in things like what the Hindi script should be, the first 1.5 minutes. They prep you in business questions. Not all founders need that much prep, but trust me, it's very, very helpful. They will also assist you a little bit figuring out, which outfit you should wear. Because when you go into the Shark Tank, that is it. There's no cuts. You're there for 1.5 hours. Of course, the team will edit out, and only 17 minutes as such will go on air. But you are there. There's no cuts, so it's best to be prepared, and as prepared as you are. So it's a long process. It's I would say, about 6-8 months process, end to end, but well worth it, particularly for consumer startups. No, I think you would have seen from the kinds of companies that come in, whether there's one founder, two founders, whether it's bootstrapped or not, whether it is doing 1 crore of revenue or it's doing 100 crores of revenue. You see people from different sectors and different walks. So there is no one formula, and I don't think there's any set criteria. I think the real idea of the show, which I have understood, is that it's about inspiring people, inspiring more and more people to start their own entrepreneurial journeys. So the more diverse that they are able to kind of show people, the more relatable it becomes to many more. So I don't think there's any set criteria as such. Very, very satisfying. We've had our biggest month, and the beauty is that we're able to hold on to the momentum. So in just the first 2 weeks, we had a near 6x jump in revenues, and we're holding on to a lot of it, as we're going forward. And what is deeply satisfying is that in my mind there was always that question, in this category, how much premium will people pay, and is the proposition of toxin free cleaning even a proposition, and how many people does it relate to? So those two questions got answered very well, right? So we are seeing that people are willing to pay a premium if it's a higher quality product. They're willing to invest in their own health. They're willing to pay more because something is pet safe and child safe. And that has been deeply satisfying, right? So we are selling now 14 dishwash bottles every minute. We're number 2 in dishwash. We're number 4 in liquid detergents. So it is hugely validating for us. So a big lift off moment for Koparo, and something that I'm super proud of. And of course, personally, a little bit extra helps. It helps because you get more followers. Those more followers lead to more leads, more business again. Our hero product is dishwash liquid, and the second product is liquid detergent. The insight is very simple. If there was one surface in your home that you'd be willing to try something non-toxic in, the first surface would be dishes, because that's the closest to the food that you eat, and therefore any chemicals that you may ingest if you're using harmful, chemically laden dishwash gel. So that's the place where our message has been able to cut through, the sharpest. And we have a very compelling proposition versus the mainstream brand Vim in this case. So we've seen a huge uptick in our dishwash sales after the Shark Tank pinch. We also sell a lot of liquid detergent. It is in general a very large market. And I think people are concerned about putting bleach next to their skin. I think this whole promise of, 5 guna safedi, 6 guna safedi, I think it's falling flat now. People do want clean clothes, but you want to preserve the life of your clothes, and you want to use high quality stuff against your skin. So I think there is an understanding that if somebody is promising me panchguna safedi, it's on the back of a lot of bleach, which is basically harmful for you. There's obviously a lot of adrenaline in that moment, and if you saw my episode, you would have realized that my ask was 70 lakhs 1%, and when Aman and Vinita were willing to meet my ask, I wanted to close the deal. I didn't see any point, in including more people. So it was as simple as that. The idea was not to offend anybody, but I believe it's made for great television comedy. But the idea was not to offend anybody. It's been very amazing, So they have been so thrilled for me. Like my granny, she's 90, and she lives with my mother, and obviously she watches a lot of TV, so she saw me, and she called me up and she said, I just want to tell you that now I've understood, Simran, कि तुमने अपनी नौकरी क्यों छोड़ी. अब मुझे समझ आया. I said, नानी अब तो समझ आ गया. She said, हाँ अब समझ आ गया है. My daughter, it was incidentally her birthday on the day of the airing. So, it was a school night, but, she was with us, with the team, cutting the cakes and celebrating every moment. In fact, when I told my husband later, I said, it's a school night and she may just, not be able to wake up the next day. And he said, she's going to remember this night forever. So we have to give it to her. So it's been very special. My husband himself is a startup founder, so he knows how short-lived founder highs can be. So his only advice to me is just enjoy the ride. So we've just tasted the possibilities that advertising, particularly above the line advertising, can unlock for you. So we definitely want to take a few more marketing bets. We think this category will respond very well to those marketing bets. So we're ready for those. We will obviously increase more and more distribution points, whether it is online, but also a big offline push is what we're planning to do. And doing all of this while making sure that our supply chain is chugging along, because when you have moments of liftoff like this, it puts a lot of strain on your value chain, and you have to redo everything every 2 months, every 3 months, just to be able to cope up with your own growth, right? These are growing pains, but you have to cope up with them because you are a consumer brand and consumer experience is everything. So that is where most of my energies will go. Titan were some of our earliest backers, so very, very special relationship. I used to be a part of a founder stack program which was run by Axel, and that is when there's a day you come in and everybody pitches, and I got a call from Bipin, and it was very clear. He was just so clear. He has such clarity. He said, "I want to do this. I want in," and that's amazing, And they've been our supporters every step of the way. And I think it's the earliest relationships that you cherish the most. So Kunal and Bipin, they're fantastic.